Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I just want to introduce someone so special. We go to fashion school together, and I remember your work when I first saw it because we've had a few classes together. When I first saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so awesome. It's so cool. So I definitely want to hear more about your story and just everything like that. So take it away, you can introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Viola, aka the one and only.
So I want to know a little bit about your journey. How did you know that you wanted to be a designer? What got you on that path?
It's a long journey, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was actually wanting to be just like a fashion wardrobe stylist first. And that how it began because dance, and if anybody don't know me, dance is still like dance is like my life, and dance always been my life. And what inspired me is like dance community, the whole culture, everything. So how I just started to realize, oh my God, I want to try fashion. I would love fashion so much. I want to be a wardrobe stylist, like all that was one night. So back then there's a studio called Creative Dance Academy. It's like my second home back then, but because I COVID, it's sad, it closed. I remember one night during training, it was like 5 hours, like one training one night. And we were like talking, my mentor was giving like lecture, all that, because when you want to be a professional dancer, I feel like that's to like just do everything. Like it's not just like a physical thing, it's more so a mental thing. So our mentor was talking about like you can explore like photography. There are a lot of people want to be like director, like all that. And we were talking about like, oh, how you can start it, you know, you can do like intern, hit people up, just like DM, like all that. And I was just thinking like, oh my God, I want to do fashion. I love fashion so much. Like, and back then it was like my sophomore year in high school. So I was trying to think of like what major I want to do like in college, or what college I want to apply for back then. So in my mind, I was like, I want to try that. And I was talking to one of my mentor, his name's Anton Chu. I'm forever grateful for him, for real, like how I started. And then we have a conversation after. I was like telling him how I want to be like a stylist, I want to do fashion, all that. And he was like, yeah, start every week, send me sketch. That's all I started. Every week I was doing sketches, mood boards, and he took me on creative team, which is like doing stuff like creative content for like studio. I designed like merch, I did a lot of mood boards, styling for shoots, like just like on set, like yeah.
High school, you started that.
Yeah, high school, I started all that.
Wow.
And then how I actually want like just be a designer, not just a stylist. Candice Kugo, I don't know if you guys know, she actually graduated from fitness. She right now designing for like Lady Gaga.
Was she on Project Runway?
Yes, she
I
was
know who you're talking about. She does like leather, right? A lot of leather work. Yes.
She's somebody really for change my life. Like just like, oh my God, I want to be a designer. She took me as her intern back then. I knew, let me tell you, I know nothing. I knew nothing about fashion. I don't know how to sew. She taught me how to use industry sewing machine, how to cut fabric. Just like she as a human, as a woman, designer, everything, like still inspire me every single day today. That's when I know like I want to be a designer, not just a stylist.
So how did you go about with that internship? How did you get that? How was like
so
that's so interesting. I love that.
Yeah, so back then, cause like I was talking to my mentor, and he's just like, oh, just hit people up, just like DM them. Like I DM so many people, like hey, and then email, and like I didn't have really like big portfolio, whatever, you know. So I just like going off what I have that far, and I did actually back then when I applied Candice Google, I did one time 4 days of LA Fashion Week. I volunteered everything, and I was just going off all the list. At the end, they sent me a list of all the designers.
I know what you're talking about.
I did all the research. I searched every single designer.
Wow.
Like I just looking for like, oh, they're based in LA. I want to enter for that because I love their stuff so much. And I saw Candice Kuko. I was like,
Wow.
damn. I was
Her
like,
work is awesome.
great work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like I saw her work. I remember I was working on front desk for LA Fashion Week, like checking people in.
Mhm.
So I got a chance like to watch runway show a little bit toward the end after I checked everybody in. And I remember Candice Coco, I was like, that. I was
So
like, that's, yeah, I just applied. Yeah, I actually got like they emailed me back. Her assistant emailed me back and it was like, can you do an interview? I think it was like literally tomorrow or just a
wow.
couple of days after. It's like, can we do an interview in the Starbucks? Da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, I'm there. And then at Candice Google, we did an interview and we were talking about like what day I'm available, like what I can do, like all of that. And I was telling her like my vision, what I want to do. And she just took me as an
Wow.
intern.
So she taught you pretty much like everything in the beginning.
Yeah, back then she was working a whole like beading thing for Lady
Yeah.
Gaga. First time I went in, I remember it's crazy like how many hours these things
Oh
take.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember I was working with glue and I just glue. That's like how like I think I went like every Tuesday and Thursday night.
Wow.
So I would go to school like every day, like high school, whatever, you know. And then I remember every Tuesday, Thursday after I go ride to Candy School go after school, usually about like 5 p.m. And I forgot what time usually leave. I think like 8 or 9. I
Wow.
think yeah, and I just working the whole time like
I always say to people, networking is so important. Like you messaged everyone. I did the same for modeling when I was first starting out. I would message everyone I could, DM everyone, email everyone. And it's so important because people will get back to you. There will be someone who will get back to you. And in your case, like she's so amazing. I think she even went to school to be a nurse, I feel like at first.
she wanted to be a dancer first. She actually got a like scholarship to like really like top ballerina school. She was gonna be a
Wow.
ballerina, and then she got like pregnant at 17, so they canceled her scholarship. And then her family went through a lot when she was younger, all that, and I think she was sleeping on her sister's couch. I think that's the story, but I'm not 100% though. I think it's on her website. Her website, the Q&A, I'm not sure it's still there, but before it was there, that she went through so much. And she started her career at 23 when she knew nothing about fashion.
Wow. So with that
20,
being said, do you think that you need to go to fashion school? Because I feel like I always like to ask this question, or just school in general, to be successful. What's your feel on that? Because I know obviously we both go to fashion school, but
mm,
like let's maybe take like a little step back and think, do you think it's important? Does someone need to go through school?
to be honest, I don't think so. I feel like unless you want to be a lawyer, nurse, science, that area, you probably should go to school because these things are very serious and you probably should go to school to learn. But I feel like fashion school, just I feel like creative in general, like you don't have to go to school to
Right.
really be successful, even though for like fitting, I feel like I love fitting so much and I appreciate like all the professors,
Mhm.
everything, so far. Cause like sometimes when you have an assistant to learn, I
Right.
feel like you learn a little bit faster. And when you kind of surround yourself with like same-minded people, not just like a university, something like that. Like, okay, we all go to school for fashion because we have the same interest, about fashion. And I feel like you get inspired by people around you when you go to school. I think that's like the benefit of like going to school. But my personal opinion, you don't have to go to school. Yeah, I feel like school in general too. School don't teach you how to be entrepreneur.
Yes, I
Well,
agree.
school, yeah, like that's something about fitting. I feel like the the other opposite side of it, it's like there are a lot of professors, I feel like a bit older, the older generation, they will always tell you like, oh, get a job, be good at school, get good grades. I think that's that.
Where have you learned like your business skills, like you were just talking about? We don't learn the kind of entrepreneur side of things. So where do you get those skills from? I guess it's passion and drive, which is really a big driving factor, but where did you learn those skills from?
First, I want to say that's another part like I am currently learning as
Right.
well. But I think how I learn all these days, I read books, I listen to so much like podcasts, interviews. I love listening to other people's story, how other brands they developed like over years, like brand I look up to, people I look up to. I say like I learn from outside a lot,
Yeah.
from internet, because like there's so many free resource, and I paid like a whole program of a company, learned about like social media on that side, and I did a little bit e-com. Last year I built a Shopify store. I don't know, I feel like everything it's like goes around, you
Right.
know. So I think that's how I mainly learn is just in real life. And I have friends that like doing really, really well, like in, for example, day trading. I have friends that are starting company, that building, and just seeing them like how they kind of learning and building their business. And I think that's how I learn. It's like
Yeah.
observe other
That
people.
makes sense. Yeah. I think the internet, it's a good and bad thing. And I think one of the good things is that we have so much to learn from for free, like you were saying. And I think also the best way is like doing it yourself. Like you need to just try it. Cause yeah, we can learn about all this stuff in school, but at the end of the day, it's like, how can you do it? And so I think by just getting out there and doing it is the best kind of thing that you can do. So who inspires you with like work, let's say even entrepreneurship too, like fashion designers, all that stuff? Who's your inspiration?
Honestly, I have so much
Yeah.
inspiration. Like just for like my personal, I feel like creative side, like how I create, how I design, I say just life.
No, that's
Honestly,
good.
honestly, it's just life. Like, okay, for example, one day I was just eating croissant with my friend, and then I was just looking at my croissant. I was like, yo, the croissant, the inside, the circle thing, like that would be really, really, really cool, like a skirt or something. And actually did a like kind of similar design to it.
Oh, that's cool. I want to see. You have to
Yeah,
send it to me.
I can maybe send you a picture of it. Like I did kind of similar to that, like a croissant inspired. And in general, I feel like a lot of like even visual that I produce a lot definitely is just like inspired by music, inspired by my dance community, what I surround myself, I think every day, you know. Music is a big, big part of it. I love watch music video. If you ever like be around me too, whenever I do work or like sewing, besides I watch a lot of interviews, I watch so much music videos, and I have a lot of music videos just on repeat. No Love, Summer Walker,
Yeah.
Summer Walker featured Scissor. They came out a remix by Cardi B, and I was watching the music video when it came out. And then there's a scene like there's like a garden. Summer Walker was like they did a further shot, and I was just thinking like how did they do that? Like, did they just like a green screen, or did they actually put a garden to it? That's like my question all the time. Every time I watch music
Really
video,
cool.
or just like, oh, who did this like custom pieces? Like, for
Yeah.
example, for Cardi B and Summer Walker, like their clothes are so dope. Or just like, oh my god, who did their makeup? And then my bestie is like she's a filmmaker, and her boyfriend actually I'm a part of their company right now. It's called Manifest, and we've been like on set a lot, so I've been around a lot of time, like being around camera, all that.
Yeah.
So whenever I watch these videos, I'm like, how did they do that? Like, what's their budget, you know?
Yeah.
Because
I think of it too.
Yeah, because like we can't just like starting everything too.
Right.
And a lot of artists, for example, we worked with like don't have like highest like budget.
Right.
And when you see this music video, when they have that type of budget, you will think, oh my God, how did they do that?
It's so funny. I think being in like a creative kind of world, like the way that we think, when we watch stuff like that, that's what we're thinking of, which I think is so cool. Like I think of that all the time when I'm watching movies. I'm like, how did they do that little bit? But it's cool. It's really cool. Talking
And
about being creative, when you have like a creative block, how do you get over that? Because I know we're making so much stuff in fashion school. I actually just had a creative block like during finals. Does that happen to you and how do you get over that?
I think that's a good question. I think how I balance everything, to be honest, I feel like I never just like feel myself just stuck. Because
Mhm.
I feel like first I'm just like doing things all the time, which that's a problem. Like overwork myself, that's a big problem with it. But also it's like whenever I don't do fashion, I just go dance.
Yeah.
And that's I feel like how like my inspiration coming from also what is like okay if I actually kind of feel like I'm tired I just gonna go like dance class and dance class there's so many different kinds of dance class or I just like do other things or I just take breaks like go to the beach
Yeah.
walk around
Yeah.
and just like I don't know, scrolling through like Pinterest, scrolling through like other things and read magazines. I think that's how I say I kind of always try my best to stay in this flow.
Yeah.
And I like I'm such a creative person. Even like when I take breaks, I love make food, even though I don't like wash dishes at all. But but I feel like even when it comes to food, I feel like it's time for me to create too.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, how I pull my plate,
Yeah.
how I make my food is like I cannot do similar stuff or same stuff like all the time. I need to switch up.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, I think
No,
that's how I
that
just
is
like keep in this flow.
good. No, that's good. So, what is like your dream in the next 5 years? Let's talk a little bit about your business and brand. Like, you're creating all this amazing stuff, and I'm going to show it. But what's your plan? Like, what do you want to do in the next 5 years?
My brand is the one. And next 5 years, I have so much plans.
Yeah.
So first, one of like I say like close goal right now. I want to work and creative direct with like top artists, people like Lado, Sweetie, Koi Leray, Cardi, Nicki, like Summer Walker, Lakia. These people, that's like where I want to do because I love being on set and I have such a creative vision of a lot of things, and I really see myself like working with them. Literally, I feel it every day. So that's one of like my plan or goal is to like direct music videos and do all that. And second, I want to definitely have my couple collections made
Mhm.
and I want to take my collections to New York. I want to travel to like Paris, London, Milan. Like I want to take my work to these places. I want to build and base my brand in LA and that's like where I want to base.
Yeah.
But in next 5 years, like I see myself get a chance like to be able to like study and work in maybe Europe
Yeah.
for a month because I really want to develop myself because I feel like there's so much I want to learn in fashion as well.
Mhm.
So that's that. And also a biggest goal is
Mhm.
I want to retire my mom in 5 years. So
Yeah.
with it 5 years, so gonna work very
I love
hard.
that. I think the same thing. I literally wrote that down. I feel like, do you love like manifestation and all that stuff? Like speaking it, I literally wrote that same thing. Like I want to retire my mom in this time.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's awesome. I definitely think coming to Europe, when you do come, let me know. But I definitely do think the market here is so different, which is really cool to learn about as well. So I think that you'll really like that too. But do you have any advice for people who are wanting to get into the industry? So like a lot of my audience, they're a little bit younger. And so a lot of them want to kind of learn like the beginning steps. So what do you think would be the right path for them to take at such an early stage in their career?
I think when you're young, like me and you, like I feel like we all still young. During this stage, like just try everything you want to do.
Yeah.
Like really try everything and you never know where you ended up, you know? And another thing is like know who you are and work on yourself as much as you can and really block the noise from outside world, people trying to test your limit, people trying to break your peace, people trying to break you down. Like don't let them do that. Know who you are, keep going no matter what, and know your purpose, like why I'm doing this. That why, it should not be materialist stuff. That why should be something higher, something beyond just like money, fame, all that. Because if your why just like I could just buy a car, buy a house, when you get like to a point just feel like you can't do this no more, whatever, I'm not gonna do it, like it's just on the side. But when you know your why and you able to like push through all the toughest moments.
I love that. I love that. That was amazing. No, it is true though. It could be so much. You do have to block out the outside noise and just know who you are. Because I think, especially in this industry, there are so many people who are going to say, I can get you to here if you blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. So it is good to know who your
Yeah,
close friends are, family, like all that stuff, and just keep them with you, because unfortunately a lot of people are like transactional in a way. So in this
yeah,
industry, at least I've noticed. So it is really
100%.
important to know who you are and to just be kind to everyone.
Don't afraid of rejection. Like it's okay if people tell you no.
Yeah.
Like your work not meant for everybody.
Yeah.
That's the unique of it. And when you're trying to do something new, people never seen it before, people will just like say a lot of crazy stuff first.
Right.
But after that, when you break through some things and people are gonna say, oh my God, that's actually really dope.
Yeah. That's the other thing. When you're like just starting out, people are like, oh yeah, that's funny, whatever. Nice, good try. But then when you start gaining traction, they're like, wait a second. So yeah,
Yeah,
exactly like you said, you just need to keep pushing and just know who you are, and that you'll get to the top because you're honest and true self. I absolutely love this. I'm backtracking a little bit, but how did you get to LA? I want to hear that story.
if you guys don't know, I'm not from LA, I'm not from US. I'm actually from China. I moved to LA when I was 16 years old by
Wow.
myself, by myself. Reason why I moved to LA, I say like just I study abroad or just I go outside and see the outside world. It's always been a dream when I was younger. Like I was like, either I want to go UK or US. And I remember, and at the end of like middle school, and my mom one day was just like asking me, "Do you want to go to like US, like go to high school?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." You know, when you're young, just like me, just like I just want to go, like I just want to go see the world, you know. But back then, I did not have like any plan of like what I want to do. When I moved here, I know I want to dance, and it's like people surround me back then. I just don't feel like I fit in any sort of like community, whatever. And I want something bigger than just like people around me. They just like party all the time, you know, like all that BS. It's like I'm really not about it, and I want to go pursue something bigger. That's I think how I got into like dance that much, and I wanted to be a professional dancer back then. Even my dance back then, it was definitely not okay at all. I admire myself have that type of dream and goal back then. Be a professional, that I want to be that backup dancer for top artists. Like one day, like I worked so hard. I was in dance studio like 7 days a week, literally.
Wow.
You know, 7 days a week. I saved so much money not eating. I cannot do that no more. Not eating, taking privates with like mentor.
Mhm.
I have a lot of mentor. I appreciate it so much, and that's I think how I moved to LA. It definitely changed my life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, at 16, that's so amazing that
Yeah.
so much. I admire you for doing that. That's such a big move, and by yourself. Look at how you did so much. It must be amazing to just to look back at that and say, look what I did all by myself. So that's really awesome.
It was rough. Like I couldn't really speak English. Like I woke up like 5 a.m. like for a year and a half at least. Just like I have a lot of notebooks too, just like writing down things. I couldn't order Starbucks, so I don't understand. I don't understand. So that's what I did for like a year and a half. Like, yeah.
That's such an amazing story. So are you looking to stay in LA? What are you feeling like?
Yeah, I love like my life right now. I feel like LA right now is like my home without home. I have my friends. I love like my friend circle is like small, but we already like work together, like going up together. And I say like I want to go with the flow. I feel like I love LA, but also I want to go to see other parts of the world too, even though I traveled a lot when I was younger, but now you're getting older and you have specific dreams. And when you travel, it's different. And I'm not sure I want to stay in this state or I want to move to another state or another country.
It'll all work itself out.
I just want to share real quick, I think like when you're younger, even like get to like 25, 30, a lot of people think like, oh my God, I need to figure everything out by 30, but never too late to honestly start anything. And I feel like that's another thing. It's like everybody's still trying to figure it out. Even your parents, when they're getting older or older people, everybody just come to this world first time. So everybody just trying their best in life, and it's okay. Sometimes, you feel like, oh my God, why this happened, or why I feel like I'm stuck. But sometimes it's like as long as you keep going, keep figuring things out, you'll be okay. Everything will be okay. Anything happens, for a reason. And sometimes one thing doesn't work, that means maybe there's something better is
Right.
waiting for you.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
always think of, especially when we're talking about how like rejection is so common in this industry. Even in modeling, it's so common. I get more no's than yeses, but that's so normal. That's just the way that the industry works. But with
Yeah.
that being said, with all those no's, I just think like exactly what you said, there's just something better waiting. And that wasn't meant for me, and that's okay. So
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. I just wanted to say thank you so much. And then where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or real life.
Yes. Or
Another real life. See me in real life.